So here's the thing. More listings in 2026 doesn't mean more opportunity. It can mean the locals already did the math and bounced. We found 10 Nevada cities where the inventory looks like leftovers. We'll break down how rate spikes crush purchasing power, why affordability gaps punish singles even harder, and which markets have momentum in reverse. You'll see which towns look cheap now but carry a resale haircut later. Let that sink in. And if you thought the first one is rough, the next place somehow made weird a competitive sport. Before we continue, hit subscribe so you never miss the latest updates. Number 1. Las Vegas. Cheap-looking listings everywhere, and yet those price cuts just sit. You see a condo drop 5 grand, then 10, and nobody bites. Why? Because the sticker is a decoy, and the real bill shows up in the monthly. Vegas hype says more inventory, deals coming. You scroll and find condos priced less than a used Tesla. Sounds like a win, but here's the catch. Affordability gaps crush singles the hardest. And block by block, the math is rough. Let's break it down. The city runs on tourism-heavy shifts and gig income that spikes on weekends and dips in slow months. Meanwhile, the condo stock comes loaded with HOAs that read like a second car payment, plus insurance that's edging up. You think you scored at list price, then the monthly looks like rent plus a gym membership you don't even use. Nationally, more listings don't equal healthy demand. That lines up with Vegas, where service sector wages swing with visitor traffic. If your paycheck rides the same roller coaster as the Strip, lenders don't love it, and your buying power thins out fast when rates twitch. It's real. It's happening. Watch the calendar. March to May floods the portals with fresh listings and relists. It feels promising. Then mortgage rates pop a quarter point, and sellers refuse to meet the new ceiling. DOM stretches. Price cuts stack. But the cuts don't hit the monthly enough to pull new buyers in because the HOA plus insurance plus taxes eat the difference. The deal dissolves in the fine print. So what happens when everyone chases the same cheap condo and rates stay high? Resale turns into musical chairs. First seller gets out with a small trim. Second seller takes a bigger slice. By the time you list, the comps look tired. The HOA board just approved a special assessment for roofs, and your buyer asks for closing credits because the pool pump died in July. On paper, Vegas looks liquid. In practice, outside prime zip codes, exit liquidity vanishes fast. That's haircut territory. Not catastrophic, but enough to sting and eat your down payment when you thought you were safe. You don't feel it at offer time. You feel it on the way out. Number 2. North Las Vegas. Prices look friendlier than the Strip side. So why are days on market stretching while the price tags play nice? You scroll, the numbers look approachable, yet listings linger like leftovers in the back of the fridge. There's a reason that budget label keeps slipping. North Las Vegas sells the pitch well. Newer builds, cleaner streets, and that I can finally afford a yard feeling. You get wide hallways, a shiny kitchen island, and a garage that doesn't feel like a broom closet. On paper, it's the calm cousin with the same sun. But here's what nobody tells you. Commute patterns chew up time and gas, especially if your job sits south of the spaghetti bowl. Certain tracks have limited amenities. Fewer groceries, fewer sit-down spots, not enough basics near the cul-de-sacs. Layer on mellow roost-style assessments or HOA fees that creep, and the deal starts leaking money from the edges. Now add rate spikes. Zillow had prime borrowers at around 6.9% back in late 2024. And volatility hasn't chilled. That $1,900 mortgage quote you screenshotted? One bad week and it's $2,500. Your buyer pool shrinks in real time. Lenders call, approvals expire, and the people who were in become maybe next quarter. More inventory sounds like relief until you ask where it's coming from. Move-up sellers listing their starter homes, investors unloading rentals that don't cash flow at today's rates. It creates choice without buyers. That's how you get longer DOM and a quiet tug-of-war on price. Singles get squeezed first. National research shows non-family households get hit harder on affordability than couples, and the same logic applies here. 2 incomes can stretch to the median. 1 income chokes on the monthly. Starter homes still demand down payments that don't match local savings rates, so offers thin out the second rates twitch. Then there's the new build glow. Builders throw concessions like free upgrades, closing cost credits, or rate buydowns. It's like getting an iPhone with bonus AirPods. Hard to resist, but those sweeteners mask weak resale comps. Your 5-year-old home with carpet you didn't pick now competes with quartz, LVP, and a lender credit taped to the front door. So how do you resell when the next buyer can walk into a model home, pick finishes, and snag a builder rate? You either undercut on price or you wait. Either way, your timeline stretches while carrying costs keep the meter running. Number 3. Reno. Reno sells you Silicon Desert vibes. Cool jobs, sleek campuses, mountain views. until your mortgage calculator taps out like it just ran a marathon. The branding screams growth. The numbers whisper, not for you. The job market looks solid. Logistics hub stack up along I-80. Tech-adjacent roles pop up with data centers, suppliers, and contractors feeding the bigger fish across the state line. On paper, wages inch higher. You feel optimistic. Then you open a listing and your pre-approval looks like a participation trophy. But here's the catch. The median home price tilts toward Tahoe, not typical Reno paychecks. High earners can swing it. Everyone else stares at the monthly and recalculates groceries. You wanted a starter? You get a lecture from your lender about debt ratios. Rate volatility wrecks budgets here. An eighth of a point sounds small until you watch an already tight approval fall through. Last week, you could clear the payment with 2 side gigs. Today, the same place needs a bigger down, or a second borrower, or both. It's like trying to buy concert tickets when the price jumps every time you refresh. And while you're wrestling with that, investors crowd the trailheads and lake-adjacent pockets. Short-term rental math still looks cute near the Riverwalk and ski corridors. Entry-level buyers lose to cash and quick closes. The resale comp sheet says cash buyer so many times it reads like a flex. Inventory rises, but affordability stalls. Sellers test the waters because they heard Reno is hot, not because buyers can actually pay. Income distribution is lopsided, and the middle thins out fast. You get more listings, sure, you don't get more closings. Singles take the hardest hit. One paycheck against a Reno mortgage is an uphill run. Starter condos dangle lower list prices, then slap on HOAs that push the total monthly above what you're paying in rent. Add insurance and the occasional special assessment, and that deal feels like a subscription you can't cancel. Resale risk stacks in fringe neighborhoods where hype ran way ahead of wages. The growth story sounded great in 2021. In 2026, buyers want proximity, not promises. You get longer days on market and lowball offers from people who bring spreadsheets and talk about utility bills, like it's a TED Talk. Number 4, Pahrump. The listings are low, the lots are big. So why does Pahrump feel like a trap every time you do the monthly math? It's the classic desert pitch. More land, fewer neighbors, and a price that looks like a clearance rack. You see acreage with room for toys and think, done deal. Pahrump sells space and freedom at a discount to Vegas. You get wide setbacks, RV gates, and no one yelling about your side-by-side. The sticker price whispers, you won't find this over the hill. And for a second, you start Googling chicken coops and solar panels like you're going full homestead. But here's the catch. Daily life math hits hard. Long drives for work and basics stack fuel costs and time you can't get back. Services thin out quick. Fewer medical options, fewer trades on call, and delivery windows that turn 2 days into whenever. Then you meet the well and septic reality. Future buyers get nervous about water tests, pump age, and leach fields. The inspection report turns into a to-do list with asterisks. Let's break down the last resort inventory. Homes sit not because they're secret steals, but because the buyer pool is narrow. You need buyers who accept long commutes, dirt roads, and self-reliance. That's not most people. So listings linger, and when they move with concessions. Rate spikes crush marginal buyers first, and this market leans on them. One bump in rates, and the folks stretching to make the payment evaporate. Demand drops fastest on the edge. When that happens, sellers chase interest with reductions, and the gap between list and actual closes with a haircut. Then the costs nibble. Utility bills jump when you run big HVAC in brutal summers. Well pumps, water softeners, and filtration systems aren't set and forget. They need service and parts. Septic pumping, driveway grading, fencing repairs. All those acres come with chores that don't care about your budget. Insurance can come with quirks too, especially if you've got outbuildings or wildfire risk lines on a map, and the quotes don't line up with your spreadsheet. When investors step out, listings swell without confidence rising. Renters don't want the commute. Cash dries up. Locals who tried the move realize they missed the convenience and slide back toward the city, quietly with a for sale sign and a sigh. You can buy here. Selling is the trick. Only a narrow life setup fits. Remote work, tolerance for dust, patience for maintenance, and a commute that doesn't break you. If your next buyer needs all that and a clean well test, your timeline stretches. Number 5. Elko. High wages from mining sound like a cheat code. Steady checks, big gear, per diem meals. But here's the catch. When the commodity cycle blinks, the whole thing wobbles. Elko looks bulletproof right up until the project manager says pause and the listings start multiplying. Elko rides commodities. When gold's good, overtime is real. and incomes look thick. You see trucks lined up at sunrise and think, demand is baked in, but the town's job base is narrow. That concentration makes the housing market feel strong in boom months and thin the second the headlines turn. So what happens when rates jump while a mine delays expansion? Buyers vanish in clusters. Pre-approvals expire, people decide to rent one more year, the monthly shifts a couple $100, and the guy who swore he'd write an offer decides to keep his cash for a new transmission. It's real. It's happening. Inventory can rise for the worst reasons. Relocations, job reshuffles, or folks leaving before a layoff. That's not healthy demand, that's churn. The result is a shelf full of listings that look affordable until you ask how many qualified buyers are still in the room. The answer, too often, is not enough. Limited diversification amplifies exit risk. If you need to sell mid-cycle, you're haggling with buyers who read the same job rumors you did. They want discounts, repair credits, and a safety cushion for the next shift change. Your equity starts doing the cha-cha, and the pool of ready borrowers is small. Even in good years, the number of buyers who can clear underwriting and want your price point is tight. That means absorption drags on mid-priced homes. Nice kitchen, new roof, doesn't matter. You wait, and the wait costs money. Singles get squeezed hardest. The math is brutal. One income versus a mortgage that assumes overtime, plus limited amenities that push you to drive for basics. In shaky periods, rents win because they're flexible. Locking a 30-year note while your employer rides a price chart can feel like a dare. So here's the thing. The deal here is timing, not fundamentals. Catch the upcycle, and you look smart. Miss it, and you donate equity via price cuts, closing credits, and an inspection list that grows a new bullet point every week. It's like buying airline tickets. The price feels random, and you convince yourself there's a trick when there isn't. Number 6. Fernley. A short drive from Reno and Tahoe hype. So why do so many resale stories end with price cuts and long waits? The buzz says affordable. The listings say manageable. The outcomes say not so fast. Fernley pitches the playbook clean. Lower sticker, newer houses, and access to bigger job hubs without the big city premium. You get the cul-de-sacs, the garages, the backyard that actually fits a grill and a dog. The promise is simple. Live cheaper while you work where the money is. But secondary markets live and die by commuting costs and wage leakage. You earn money in one place and spend hours in fuel getting there. Every mile siphons the discount. That's the twist. And it sits in your tank and your calendar. Rate bumps plus gas prices erase savings fast. 1 week rates edge up, the next week fuel does, and suddenly the monthly you bragged about looks like a rounding error. Buyers do the math, see the spread compress, and decide to wait. Waiting turns into longer days on market, and sellers chasing attention with cosmetic credits that don't fix the underlying math. Builders make it feel busy, but watch what happens when incentives come back. Closing cost help, rate buydowns, and shiny upgrades flood the entry-level lane. Resales freeze. Your 5-year-old house with the builder beige suddenly competes with quartz, LVP, and a salesperson who can shave a point off the payment. The comps don't move up, they stall. Inventory here can rise from relocation churn, not organic demand. Transfers, job shifts, timing changes, listings pop, but only a handful of buyers chase the same cul-de-sac stock. 3 similar houses on the same block means each one steals traffic from the others. The result is silence punctuated by low offers. Singles struggle the most. You've got one income, an HOA nibbling at the monthly, and transportation that keeps eating your wallet. The difference between renting and owning narrows when your commute steals an hour each way and a tank every week. It's like buying a discount phone plan that charges extra for every text. You don't notice until the bill hits. Here's the thing. Without a strong local job base, exit demand depends on the bigger hub staying hot. If hiring slows 20 miles away, showings dry up on your street. You're not selling a home. You're selling a commute. And that's a tougher pitch when overtime disappears. Number 7, West Wendover. Border town pricing plus steady hospitality jobs. What could go wrong? On the surface, it looks like a cheat code. Cheaper than big city Nevada, casino shifts that keep paychecks predictable, and a state line that funnels traffic all weekend. It reads like stability. It spends like a trap. The economy leans on casinos and cross-state traffic. You've got slots, tables, buffets, and crews working odd hours to keep lights buzzing. Weekends surge, weekdays fade, and the whole town runs on tip cycles and rotating shifts. That's the engine. It's reliable until it isn't. But here's the catch. A narrow employer base plus a remote location slices the buyer pool down to a sliver. If you don't work hospitality or support services, You're probably passing through, not planting roots. The pool of pre-approved buyers with reason to stay is small. Small pools mean soft prices and longer waits. Rate volatility knocks service workers off the field first. One jump in mortgage rates and the monthly shoots past comfort zones built on variable hours and tip-heavy income. The affordability window snap shut fast. Yesterday's "we can stretch it" becomes today's "let's renew the lease." Inventory can climb for weird reasons. Staff turnover, transfers between the sister properties, cross-border relocations when schedules change or housing on the Utah side opens up. That's supply from churn, not from real demand. Listings appear, then sit, because the next buyer with the same job is still negotiating a shift, a raise, or a roommate. Now let's talk lending. Fewer lenders want small market loans with thin comp sheets. Appraisals get awkward when 3 recent sales are all wildly different. A cash investor here, an employee relocation there. Underwriting asks more questions. The closing table gets crowded with conditions and extensions. Singles carry higher payment ratios here. One income up against a mortgage that assumes rock-solid hours and no surprise downtime is a tough bet. Rents stay sticky because flexibility matters when your schedule lives by the casino calendar. Purchases lag not because people hate the town, but because the commitment feels heavy in a niche economy. Resale depends on a hyper-specific buyer profile. You're basically fishing for someone on a compatible shift, willing to stay, with a lender who approves tip documentation without blinking. That buyer exists, but they move a lot and their timing rarely matches yours. When they bail, days on market double, and your price cut becomes bait. Mini payoff? You can buy in West Wendover. Selling quickly at par is a different game, and you're not holding the cards. Tonopah promises cheap land and big skies next, and a reality check when the distance starts billing you every week. Number 8. Tonopah. The listings feel like 2014 pricing, so why is your agent side-eyeing you the second you say Tonopah looks like a steal? Because the sticker whispers deal, but the exit screams delay. Cheap is not the same as liquid. Let that sink in. Tonopah sells remoteness and a certain off-grid charm. You get big skies, quiet nights, and enough yard to lose a lawn chair. That vibe is real. If you want solitude and a workshop, it checks boxes the cities can't touch. The marketing leans into that. Space, privacy, and a mortgage that doesn't bully your paycheck. But here's the catch. The distance from services, medical care, and major employers shrinks your future buyer list. You're 2 steps from most basics, 3 steps from specialists. Need a specific part or a pro? You're waiting or driving. That friction doesn't just annoy you. It scares off your next buyer before they even schedule the showing. Rate spikes push borderline buyers to rent or look elsewhere. This market leans on folks stretching the monthly. One jump in rates and they opt out. Inventory rises from life change sellers. Job transfers, family moves, inheritances. That's supply without matching demand, which turns your deal into a waiting game. Infrastructure gaps add sand to the gears. Repairs take time because parts aren't down the block, and the pros who can do the work are booked or coming from far away. A roof leak is a roof leak, but here it might be a week, a hotel night, and a rush fee. Costs creep, timelines stretch. Your emergency fund becomes a revolving door. Airbnb hopes collide with reality. Seasonal traffic, limited attractions, and unpredictable midweek demand make projections wobble. Then you run into host caps, tax rules, or a slow shoulder season that eats your occupancy. A few 5-star weekends don't carry a slow quarter. The spreadsheet you love turns into a shrug. Singles face the worst math. One income against travel costs, utilities that spike in extreme weather, and a car that ages in dog years on long drives. That cheap mortgage glow fades when your monthly includes fuel, higher maintenance, and a buffer for delays. It's like buying the budget phone, then paying extra for every charger and adapter. Your resale window is narrow and seasonal at best. Listings wake up when the weather cooperates and roads behave. Outside those months, showings trickle. You might thread the needle and land the one buyer who wants your setup. Or you carry it another season and hope rates don't move against you again. Mini payoff? Tonopah's low entry is real, but the exit velocity is slow. You win on day 1, then wait for your future buyer to appear on day whenever. Yerington looks quaint until the job map and buyer map stop overlapping. Number 9. Yerington. Craftsman porches and small town calm. So why do listings linger? You walk Main Street, it's cute. Prices look gentle, and yet the same addresses keep popping up week after week. There's a reason the porch swing moves faster than the escrow. Yerington sells charm at a discount to Reno. Lower sticker, quieter streets, and the kind of neighbor who waves because they actually know you. On paper, that's the win. You're thinking, I can get a yard and keep my sanity, but here's the catch. Local wages are thin and amenities are sparse. That combination shrinks the pool of buyers who can qualify and actually want to stay. One grocery option, a short list of employers, and limited services don't help the underwriting mood. The town's vibe is great, the income picture, not so much. Rate volatility makes it worse. In a small market like this, one bad week wipes out half the active buyers. Pre-approvals expire, payment shock knocks people off the fence. You'll see a price cut, then another. And it barely moves the needle because the payment math is still off by $100 in a lender condition. Inventory builds for quiet reasons that don't equal demand. Retirees head closer to family. Heirs list inherited homes because no one's moving back. More for sale signs appear, but the number of ready buyers doesn't rise with them. That's how you get longer days on market and a spread between list and sell that stings. Commuting to bigger hubs kills the savings. You run the numbers, feel clever, then add time, fuel, and wear on the car. That cheap mortgage comes bundled with highway miles. 2 tanks a week and a set of tires early can erase the discount faster than you expect. It's like grabbing the sale laptop and paying full price for every dongle. Singles get priced out of the nice pockets first. One income against even a modest mortgage plus utilities is tight. Yeah, couples can stretch, but stretching invites hesitation. They stall at inspection, ask for credits, and bail if rates bump mid-escrow. The window is small and it opens and closes with the bond market. Exit plans rely on the same few families cycling through every year. You're not marketing to the world. You're marketing to a short list of locals with specific needs and cautious lenders. Miss the season? Or miss the one buyer who fits and you're carrying it until the next shuffle? So here's the mini payoff. Pretty town, tough resale math. List to sale spreads hurt, and the break-even horizon stretches in a soft national market with slow appreciation. Goodsprings is up next. Historic vibes, modern liquidity problem. Number 10, Goodsprings. Quirky, historic, and close-ish to Vegas. So why isn't Goodsprings an easy flip? The price tags flirt with affordable. The town has a vibe, and the drive isn't insane. You'd think the market would move fast, it doesn't. And the reason isn't mysterious once you zoom in. The branding is strong. Mining history, desert character, and a day trip distance that lets you grab a burger at the saloon and be home before the sun torches your dashboard. You get rustic storefronts and that old Nevada feel that looks great on your feed. The pitch writes itself, but tiny inventory plus micro market comps turns pricing into guesswork. One sale sets the tone for months. Appraisers don't have a deep bench, and buyers hate rolling the dice on value. You're not picking between 10 similar houses. You're choosing from 2 wildly different ones and hoping your lender plays along. Rate spikes punish niche markets hardest. When there are only a handful of active buyers, losing 1 to a quarter-point jump doubles your days on market. A single "we're out" can stretch a listing from 4 weeks to 4 months. It's real. It's happening. Then come the inspections. Infrastructure and amenity gaps turn every line item into a debate. Water, power reliability, road maintenance, internet speeds, each one becomes a negotiation. Need a contractor? Add time. Need materials? Add money. You don't breeze through underwriting when the property lives on exceptions. Everyone whispers Airbnb, but the math rarely sings. Limited attractions and inconsistent demand make occupancy lumpy. Weekends have life, midweeks are a shrug. Cleaning crews and turnover aren't next door, and your check-in instructions start to read like a camping manual. A few strong months can't carry a slow quarter. Singles take the hardest hit. Debt-to-income ratios get rocked when utilities spike in summer. HOAs pop up on the condo-style pockets, or rehab item surfaces. One surprise. Panel upgrade, septic fix, roof patch, and the monthly loses its shine. Rent starts to look like the safer bet, purely because it's flexible. What happens next is predictable. Stories of price cuts stack as sellers chase a vanishingly small target buyer. $5,000 off, then 10, then closing credits. You're fishing in a tiny pond, and the fish already left a voicemail about moving next spring. The marketing stays cute, the offers stay shy. So here's the mini payoff. Great story, weak exit. In 2026, Goodsprings is Instagrammable but illiquid. You can buy the narrative and the porch photo. The line of buyers at closing is the part that doesn't show up on your feed. That's the list. The leftovers of Nevada's market aren't deals, they're delays. So here's the thing. Growing inventory is not a green light. When wages, rates, and amenities don't line up, Supply floats while demand ghosts. Mortgage rates whipsaw after a dip. They popped near 6.9% for prime borrowers. And every twitch smashes budgets like surge pricing. Would you live where the sticker is low but your exit is a coin toss? Drop a yes or nope in the comments. Like this video so the algorithm thinks I'm important. And subscribe because someday you'll want to escape. Want the flip side, the Nevada towns that actually hold value in 2026? You're not ready for that one. Let that sink in.